Donald Trump also repeated a threat today. He wants Canada to become the 51st state. For more, let's bring in Bob Rae. He is the ambassador and permanent representative of Canada to the United Nations in New York, and he's got our flag there proudly displayed behind him. He joins us from NYC. Ambassador, a 30-day reprieve, but the threat of U.S. takeover is not over. How concerned are you about the U.S. president's statements he's making about Canada?
Well, I mean, look, we are definitely not the 51st state. We have no desire. I think the vast majority of Canadians have no desire to become the 51st state. I think the president's musings on that subject have gone on long enough. I mean, we need to move on, develop respectful relationship between our two countries, and come to grips with the fact that when the president and the administration threaten tariffs, that they're really threatening their own economy as much as ours. And because our two economies are so closely linked, there's no such thing as an American car. It's made in Canada. It's made in the United States. Much of it's made in Mexico. So it's really important to get past some of these old ways and old stereotypes of looking at the economy and understand how closely linked up it is. And I think we saw that in the market reaction to the president's announcement over the weekend. And I think that's a reality that we all deal with in public life, that the marketplace and the economy work in a certain way, and it's important that you not create conditions that make for an enormous amount of insecurity, and that's, I think, a challenge we continue to face.
I mean, you could say Trump is talking about Canada in the way you heard Putin talk about Ukraine, like they're not a real country. Should we be insulted here or scared?
Neither. I don't think it's about taking it that way, or taking it at face value. I think it's rhetoric that maybe he thinks is either amusing or effective, but I think we need to move on and understand that there has to be a respectful relationship that looks at how we bargain and looks at how we deal with trade issues and we deal with other issues. But I mean, this has been for many Canadians and for many people in the United States, it's been a deeply troubling time. I mean,
yes.
And I think it's time, totally self-inflicted. There was no reason for this. We need to get on with the issues we need to get on with. And, nobody was happier at seeing the turmoil that's being created than Russia and China. And I don't think that's a situation we want to create.
So you don't think these threats are genuine? These are just negotiation tactics from the U.S. president then?
I wouldn't say any of the above. I don't know what to make of them, except to say that I don't think many Canadians think it's funny. And I don't think there are many Canadians who appreciate having the sovereignty and integrity of their country belittled in this way. And I think the Prime Minister, any Prime Minister, is deserving of more respect than this.
Are you having conversations with any of your counterparts at the UN about all of this and what's going on?
Of course. Because what's happening is not only what's happening to Canada.
Yes.
It's what's happening to a number of other countries as well directly, but also it's the substantial disinvestment in the United Nations and some critical institutions like the World Health Organization, which are creating their own kind of instability. And that's a broader issue and problem and challenge that the world faces at the present time. We need to maintain vaccinations around the world. We need to maintain protection from a potential pandemic. We need to strengthen our national capabilities, the capabilities of countries around the world to respond to healthcare crises. And we need to strengthen the ability of international institutions to work. So that's something that people are talking a lot about, as well as the threats to various countries that come and go, and it's difficult to assess where they sit exactly. But it is a troubling time for the world. I think it would be, you'd have to be, have your head in the sand not to understand that this is a significant problem.
Yeah, we see them getting rid of U.S. aid too. Seeing a surge of nationalism and patriotism from Canadians as we go through this now. This has become a challenging relationship. What happens over the next 4 years? Is it just we're going to have to deal with the U.S. president because that's just who he is?
Well, we do have to deal with the U.S. administration because they've had an election and that's their choice. Mm-hmm. So we have to deal with that. Of course we have to deal with it. And I think most people would say that Mr. Trudeau and the government and the premiers and all those who have been working away at this have been working at it thoughtfully and effectively and are doing a very good job in a very difficult circumstance. I think it's not just about maintaining our own sense of our own identity. It's about ensuring that the world is a decent place and that we're treating each other with respect. We saw the impact of aggression on Ukraine. We've seen it, the threats against Taiwan and against stability in the South China Sea, and that's never good. Those kinds of aggression are never good. Threats of aggression are never good. No. And so, we have to be aware of it as we face up to it. But there is, I think, strength in numbers and people working effectively together. And I think a lot of other countries are coming together to face up to the particular challenges that we're facing right now.
Thank you, Ambassador Bob Rae. I got my Ontario Scholar Award in the 80s at Runnymede Collegiate from Bob Rae, and here I am getting a chance to talk to him as our representative at the United Nations. Appreciate your time this evening.
My kids went to Runnymede Collegiate.
I know that. Thank you, Ambassador.